Hello, hi, it's Jessica here, and I'm back with another video and a live video this time on apartment mystery shopping. And I'm pretty excited about this video because I have been getting a lot of questions on my other videos in regards to apartment mystery shopping through EPMS. And so I thought I would just make a video to address the topic of when to complete a mystery shop and what the process looks like. So that's what I will be doing today. So I have a different type of screen set up through StreamYard today. So hopefully you can see my screen right now. I will make this bigger so everyone can see, but I will be walking through completing a mystery shop. And just as a heads up, as I've said in previous videos, the report for the mystery shop, that's one of the cons. One of the things I don't love about mystery shopping, but hey, to make an extra income, maybe 50, 60, bucks for just looking at an apartment and sharing what your thoughts were about it and what your experience was, I think it's pretty good for anyone that's looking for some additional income. So I will jump right in after I kind of address a comment in here. Hello, Twisted V Twin Garage. Welcome. So glad you're here. So let's see. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Well, actually tell me, do I need to make this bigger, Twisted V Twin Garage, folks in the chat? Does it look okay? Otherwise, I will go ahead and make this screen bigger so we can see. I definitely want it to play back really well for folks that rewatch because I know I've gotten this question and I'm just going to direct people to the video whenever they ask about it. So for some reason, I'm not seeing all the comments. Let me see here. Okay. Hey, Partly Cloudy. Welcome. Hi, No Tooth Tony interviews. Hello. I just did an interview with No Tooth Tony interviews, so please check him out on YouTube and Instagram. That's where the video will go live sometime next week. Perfect size. Okay, looking good. Okay, perfect. And hello, Mrs. Twisted V Twin. Okay, I see the couple there. Thank you both for joining. All right, so I am just gonna jump right in here. Okay, so what do you do when you're ready to complete a shop? So basically, and let me see if I can backtrack here. Okay, so from the home page, this is the Ellis Partners in Management Solutions company site. And what you're going to see on here, you're going to see a lot of different information that if you completed a shop, you should already know of, but you'll see where you can find shops, which is right here, how you can refer a friend, most importantly, how you can update and add your bank information so you get that direct deposit, of course. And then, reviewing your profile information, some of the basics there. I do also want to point out that right here on the side panel, you will see instructional videos for shoppers. So if you're looking to get started in apartment mystery shopping, and yes, you can do virtual or on-site, they're both right now. You can actually look at some of these videos here. They have one that's completing the report, and someone on the staff literally walks you through those videos. I used some of those when I got started. I just clicked on this completing the report because I was going to show you, but I'll just walk through it myself. So at the very bottom of the screen of the page, you're going to see the shops that you have. So I have two here. Honestly, I don't know if I'm going to do both of them, but I wanted to have them here as a reference to walk through the report. Now, this is here as well. This is a video evaluation. I'm listed as a backup. After this video, I'll probably close out on that one. I don't think I'm going to do it. So let's go ahead and look at this one from Brooklyn, New York. And how I'm going to get the details is just clicking on this exclamation sign. If you wanted to cancel, you would just hit the X. And then if you wanted to email the staff because you're having some challenges or you just have a question, you can do that right from the site. So I'm going to go to information so I can get started. So here is where you're going to find all the details. And if I hit this arrow, you're going to see all the information here. So you're going to basically check each of these things off as you go along. So you'll read the shop contract specifics, you'll read the shopper story to know what you're supposed to say as the shopper, and then you'll make the call, and there are specific instructions of doing that. You will check your recorded audio. EPMS normally has the recording of the call, a portion of it. So you'll use that, and you will go ahead and make the on-site visit, or you'll do your virtual tour where you record yourself like on your iPad or your phone, and then you fill out the report. So that's really what we're going to focus on today. I will click on some of these just so you can see here about the shop. So important things you need to know: when is it due by? So this one's due on December 2nd. You'll look at the form just to see some information about the shop. You'll see the shop number. You don't really need that. You'll see the contract rate here, which is $45. And if there's a bonus tied to it, I believe that also shows up here. So you'll see the property that you need to shop and the address and all of that good information. This is important. You'll see the number and your record code. So you will call the number and you actually have to enter that code in, because that's your shopper ID. That's how EPMS knows that it's you calling, and so that you get the credit. And then let's see here, who to shop. So sometimes you're going to see who to shop, and sometimes you're not going to have a specific person to shop. When I did these more frequently, I pretty much always picked the shops where you don't have to find any specific person. You can literally shop whoever answers the phone, because it's easier. For me, I just didn't want to keep calling and calling to try to find David or Robert when Susie answered, and I could quickly do, the shop for her. So just my preference, I say it can be a little more of a time commitment when you're trying to find a specific leasing agent. So for me, I just didn't prefer that. And then when to shop anytime, which is great. Sometimes you'll see that, you can only shop like Monday through Friday or something. So that is ideal. All right, so I'm going to move along here. I would just mark this section as complete, which I'll go ahead and do because I just looked at it. And then you move right along. I'm going to skip up to filling out the online report here. All right, so with this, what you're going to do is you're just going to go click on fill out the form online, and here's where all of our information is. Pay attention to the side panel on the right, because when I first did this, I didn't realize. I just looked at it and I was like, oh, well, this is easy. One pager, I'll be done in this, done with this in like 5-10 minutes max. No, no. You look at the right side and you see that you will have to complete each of these sections. Now, they're not extreme, but it really helps to have your recording and have like information in front of you and doing the shop right after you complete it, because I promise you will forget, especially if you're trying to do multiple shops over a weekend or something. They're going to start blending together, and they're all going to seem similar. You're going to be like, who was that person I talked to? What did they look like? So we're going to go ahead and walk through here. So you should have the agent that you spoke with. You'll have to have their first and last name. I always recommend just confirming that on the phone with them if they said their name. And then when you go to complete the shop, or if you're doing it virtually, just make sure that you have either their email with their information or you've confirmed their name on the phone. The date of the call, very easy. Time of the call, very easy, straightforward. I didn't realize that you would have to note that kind of information. So my first shop, it took me longer to fill out the report, to be honest with you. But then once I knew what information I needed to have up front, it got, a lot better for me. So time of call, length of time, or length of the call, this is easy if you have your cell phone and you call them. If you call them on your cell phone, it'll track it. You just have to remember that you didn't call directly the agency. You used the number that EPMS gave you. If you made any other calls, note them here. So if you called them 5 times, just note it in the comments. You don't have to, but if you want to and you have the information, go ahead and throw it in there. And then the agent that you shopped. So what this means is the person you called, if it's different than the person that you actually shopped with, then you'll want to note that here. Now, in this case, I have to shop either Robert or Adam. So if it were the case of, I think it was Robert or Adam, correct me if I'm wrong. But so if Adam, actually, I spoke with him, and then he set me up to have the, virtual tour with Robert, well, then I would just note that. And then you'll note the date of the visit. So if you visited on site or scheduled your tour, your virtual tour, whatever date that was, that's what you put here. And the same information, the time of the visit and the length of the visit, weather conditions, sunny, rainy, whatever. And then you move along. So I'm going to kind of click on here. Hopefully it lets me. Perfect. So these details are going to be just confirming, this information that the leasing agent confirmed with you. So there's certain things that the leasing agent is supposed to ask you and confirm with you. Sometimes they don't. I literally just tried to shop, and the guy was like so laissez-faire. It was like, yeah, I don't even think he knew what type of apartment I was looking for or anything. So anyway, side note, but you'll put the shopper name in there. So your name, and then you'll give the telephone number that you provided them. Excuse me. And then, all my information just came in there. But you'll give whatever name you gave. So if you said, let's say my name is Jessica, but I told them my middle name, or maybe I just said Jess, which I go by sometimes, then you'll put that in there. Guest accompanying shopper, I've never had to do that, so I would leave that blank. And then if you did have someone accompany you, which I don't recommend doing, but for some reason they have that on here. I think they've added this since I've completed my last shop, so you would just add in their details. And then going down here, you'll include, how the shopper learned of the community, basically what you actually told them. The apartment size, date needed, pets, number of occupants. These are normal things that you'll be asked of a leasing agent. And then what was your reason for moving? And then if you had any specific needs or preferences. So for example, with this being in Brooklyn, maybe your preference might be having a washer and dryer in the unit or in the building or something. So normally you would go save down here, but I'm not going to do that. I am going to click on the next one. All right, so here's where you really get to assess the leasing professional. This is like the fun part, at least in my opinion. So you get to basically describe, what was the leasing professional's overall attitude and impression. I feel like this is mainly fun if someone went above and beyond, or if they were really terrible and you're like, how you're writing a bad review and it's like you're getting out all of that frustration, you get to do that here. So if the leasing professional was really great, you get to share that here. If they overall were just snarky and rude, you get to put that in here. The closing technique, you basically have to share, and this is why I say record the shop. So if you're visiting, if you're doing the virtual, record everything, because you do have to recall it. So what I would normally do is I would have my laptop, and then I would have my iPad, which is what I normally would take with me to record, because, well, I have, I'm a woman, I would have a big purse I could use and throw it in there. So no one knew anything, but I would use that to record. So you will need that information because you need to actually add it in here, right? So you'll include that. And then you'll share whether you would have leased the apartment, why or why not, really quickly. And then the strongest points of that leasing professional, the weakest points, and just your overall comments. It does have to be a certain length. So what I would do, I wouldn't be too lengthy, and I would just hit save and see what happens. And if I needed to add more, I would go ahead and add more, because I would rather do that than add in like 5 paragraphs, and I really didn't need to share that much. I would just kind of add in the essentials. But you do need to, typically you need to add in at least 3 sentences. They do not have to be super lengthy, but there is a word count in here. So just keep that in mind. So don't say it was good and then period, because that's not going to work. And then I would save that, and then I would move ahead to the telephone call. So you'll get to put in here, and some of the stuff I do feel is a little bit repetitive, but you'll put in here, the number of calls you made, what the leasing agent actually told you, that they thank you for calling, that they offer their name to you, which they should have, that they offer their assistance to you, all of that stuff you'll put in here. And then, did the leasing professional mention the community? So they should be saying welcome to Bozzuto community, blah, blah, blah. So you'll get to put that in here. If they don't, there's an NA section there, or just say no. If you don't remember, just put no. If you don't recall it and you don't hear it on your recording, most likely they didn't. So let's see in here. So you'll see a lot of different questions on here, like about pets. They should be asking those questions as well. So you'll just go down the list and quickly yes or no for most of this stuff. And if you do have other comments, you can add those in here. But on this section, I don't believe it's required. So let me see if there are any questions in the chat before I keep going. Oh, hello, Mr. B. Good day or good morning. Well, afternoon for me, but good morning. Let's see. Oh, thank you, No Two Tony Interviews. You're so kind. Black Gold, hello, welcome. Hey, how are you? You say you did a lot of shops for this company this month. Can't wait to get paid. Oh, awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. Cool. You had a lot of specific persons and it was difficult trying to get them. Yes, I think the person that kept answering the phone when I called back knew it was me each time. Yeah, so one tip for that, Black Gold, is you want to space out your time. So if you called in the morning, try to call back over a lunch period, like when you think maybe someone else might be covering the call, and then try again like in the afternoon. Just space it out a little bit. I would normally call during the lunch hour or like early in the morning if the leasing office was closed or closed. So if they were open at like 8 a.m., I would call them like sometimes even on my drive into work because it was easier for me to manage. Because, if you're working, you can't just keep going away to call these people to try to catch this one person. So that's the one thing I didn't like. Now, I did have a shop or two where I just happened to pick the person right off the bat. And then I had one where I called back one other time or two other times. It wasn't a ton. And I finally got the lady that I needed to meet with. But then when I got to the location, it was a different leasing agent. And I just shopped them and put in the information. They still paid me. So, do what you can. And they know they have plenty of these shops available where people can't get the person. So it's fine. But thank you so much for your comment, Black Gold. I'm so glad to hear that you started and you should be getting paid. Well, it depends on when you complete the shop, but you get paid every month. For me, it was the 22nd of each month. So awesome. Hey, Edward Smart, welcome. Nice to see you. All right, so I'm going to keep going on here. So we've gotten to this section. So telephone. And then we're going to go to 5-star walk. Basically just going through here, you're answering questions on what you saw with the community. So I don't know if this may look different for, strictly video, but I remember seeing this on every shop that I've had where it was like, okay, what did you think about this? And just wanting you to understand or wanting you to think about what you saw within the community. And was it like appealing? Was it nice? What did the building look like? Was there trash outside? I mean, this being Brooklyn, there's probably going to be trash unemptied, but side comment. So it's going to ask you about the curb appeal, overall the lobby, if they showed you that, all of these different things. So you'll just hit yes or no. And again, if you just don't remember, just say, not applicable or NA over here. But it will ask you those questions. It's probably the quickest part because you can just go yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Okay, so the greeting. So again, they're trying to figure out how the leasing professional is doing. Are they following the script? Are they asking the questions they need to ask? Are they sharing the information they need to ask you? So overall, are they a good leasing professional? So you will ask these questions in here. Nothing too big that I want to point out, but some things that you'll want to keep in mind when you actually visit the shop. So once we're actually back to some normalcy here, if you are offered, water or drinks or anything like that, you'll want to make sure you keep that in mind and maybe even note that right after you leave, and any other little nice things that they do for you during your visit. Let's see. Now, this is something they've added in here, that they wear face masks during the visit, and keeping a safe distance away. So those will be good things to note out. Here, this is just about, identifying needs. Did the leasing professional ask you the questions they needed to know so that they could offer you the right apartment complex? So like in my case, the person didn't ask me what type of apartment I was looking for, or any of that in my latest example, but they should be asking these questions so you get to say, did they ask you if you have pets? Did they ask you about your budget or your price range? Did they ask you about how many occupants will be in the apartment? These are all things that they should have asked you, so you'll get to respond to that here. And so if they didn't, you get to you basically get to help them be a better leasing professional. And then demonstrating. So this is just about the overall model. So what I recommend doing is either you have the link to the model that you saw, or you kind of record it. And what I would do naturally, I would have my iPad. So that's why I recommend having, another device with you. I would still have that recording in my purse. However, for leasing agents, they're pretty used to people taking video of the space, right? So if you're on site, you definitely want to have your phone and take some video. So make sure you have some storage space available for that. But you'll want to take some video of the apartment, even the community, just so you remember some of that stuff. I learned to do that quickly. The first time I visited a shop, I remember I did not actually record the space, because I think I was a little nervous about the person thinking I was a shopper. And then later I was like, well, duh, I would normally take video, take pictures and things. They're used to that stuff. So anyway, I would just say, oh, I'm gonna, I love this bathroom, I'm gonna record it. And I would just record and make sure I have the space of what it looks like. And then I will also get samples from the agent, like the actual layout of it. So I knew the square footage, they would write all the information I needed. So that was also helpful. So you're not racking your brain and making this process longer than it needs to be. All right, let me look at some comments real quick. Okay, Black Gold, you'll do that. Okay, great. I'm glad that was helpful. Mr. B, are they responsible for removing the human-shaped chalk outlines on the floor? Oh gosh. That's funny. Oh boy. No, you're just kind of giving your overall opinion on the community. Now with New York, if all of the streets have trash, I don't know about that. But at least on their property, they should be pretty clean, and it should look nice. And if it doesn't, then you can note that. Let me see here. I don't think I want to say anything specific about this other than they've introduced some details about COVID and, that type of information. But overall, you should be providing details on how the leasing agent, I can't talk, how they pretty much showed you the community and the apartment and what the actual neighborhood looked like. Like, what did the community look like? Let's see here. My voice is getting dry, so I'm going to drink some water. All right, so this part I do want to talk about, that the leasing professional effectively overcome your objective. Now, this is something I didn't know when I started mystery shopping, but normally you should be, as a leasing agent is trying to sell you on the apartment. you should actually say like, oh, I was kind of hoping for this, or oh, these cabinets are wide, I don't know. And they should be able to have that opportunity to overcome an objective that you, or an objection that you have. So if you're like, oh, I thought there was a washer and dryer in here, or oh, it would be nice if there was, all hardwood instead of carpet, they should have the opportunity to say, well, such and such is really great, or we could have that option for you, whatever. So you should be giving them that. But if you don't, then you can just say NA to that comment, and then it makes it even quicker for you. And then you basically describe, can you see yourself living there? Why or why not? What are some things that could be changed with the, community? If it was a FaceTime, you basically provide the information on the self-guided tour, which is basically the same thing. Like you're talking about the community amenities, whatever they pointed out to you, did the apartment look clean, all of that kind of stuff. So that is that. And then you would just hit save and move right along. Now, this is the closing part. So how did the leasing agent try to sell you? Did they, tell you about a promotion? Were you offered to complete, the start of the paperwork online or something? So that all is going to be in here. If they did not offer you these things, then you can note all of that stuff in here. But it's pretty straightforward. So it's basically, as it says, the closing, it's how the leasing professional wrapped up that conversation with you, or wrapped up that on-site visit with you. They should have basically guided you to leasing the apartment as the overall for that. And then we have the fair housing, like were you discriminated against? Like were you, and again, this is something I didn't know that I should ask, but you should be asking about like, oh, what kind of people live here? And, is the area safe, or how is the area? And they should be able to have that, with you. But in the case where if you didn't ask, just note that in there and say you didn't ask. You should be fine. But I learned that on my second go around, I did not ask. And I was like, well, yeah, I probably would normally, and as a woman, I would normally ask about the safety. So I just try to treat the apartment as you're actually looking at the apartment and what questions you would ask. So those are some good ones to add in there. Then you would save that, and then just some general other stuff about the community, the environment, was it welcoming, incentives. So that's pretty short. I don't remember this being in here before, but the tax credit communities, or maybe this is maybe it's just because it's in New York. I don't think you will get this if you're in another location. Any additional questions in here? So, I mean, it's basically just the same information that you would have already had, but specific to the leasing agent. So you get to describe who the person was. I think this comes in handy when you don't have a specific person, or they need to confirm that you actually, talk to a certain agent. So that's why I say also, do the shop right after, because you will have to, I do remember this part, you do have to recollect, if the person was wearing glasses, were they, a little plumper, or if they were tall, short, whatever. So you'll basically describe the agent. That's pretty much all I want to say on that. You'll save. And then the last part is just the overall customer experience. Like, how would you have rated the experience that you had on site, the community, all of that, so that leasing property knows how they stand. So the community amenities struck me as what? Extraordinary to distressed. That's an interesting way to do a 5-point scale, but this is where you can basically show, no, I would not ever want to be in this environment, or yes, I do. But it's really quick. You just select by star ranking. If you don't have really anything to say about it, you can just say disconnected or not applicable. Let's see. And I think this is the last section on here. Yes, so this wraps up your shop. Now, I just recommend taking at least about 45 minutes to complete the shop, so that you have enough time. You're not having to rush through it like crazy, but it's try to do it as well as you can. All right. Let me see here. that's pretty much the shop. Let me go back to the main section if I can. I'm going to stop sharing for just a second so you don't see me clicking away, although you can hear me. All right. All right, so hopefully that was helpful. And let's see. Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, that's a good one. You know what? I normally don't ask that question, Mr. B. I think that's smart to ask, like, okay, who are my neighbors? What do they do? Who lives above? That is important. Are there a bunch of kids up above, or what's going on? So that is a good one. Let me see here. I'm trying to go back to StreamYard. But for some reason I'm not able to see the comments in here when I go to StreamYard. So I'm gonna go back and share my screen here. Okay. Okay. So overall, just going back to this, you'll read the shop contract, you'll read the shopper story, you will make the phone call, and I'll take a quick overview of this. This is the number you would call. This is your shopper number, or what it says is your record code, but it's what identifies you as a shopper. And you'll see as you go along and mark things completed, your progress changes to green. Like, so you'll see that you're making progress at the shop, and also the team there can see that you're making progress on the shop. If you don't make any progress with the shop and the deadline starts to approach, you may have someone reach out to you and just check in and say, like, hey, are you still going to complete this shop? Do we need to assign to someone else? That's why there's backups, because if you find that you can't complete the shop, they have someone else that can take it over. Let me see here. Then you make the call. You will check the audio recording. Now, something to point out about the audio recording is that you don't get the full recording. I thought when I first started mystery shopping for this company, I thought when I did the phone call, they were recording the entire conversation. Well, yes, they are, but they only provided the first couple of like a minute or whatever to me. So I wouldn't have access to the full recording. So I recommend recording your phone conversation and your virtual or on-site actual shop when you visit that apartment or you see that apartment in a FaceTime video or whatever, because you will not have access to the full recording, or at least that's not been my experience. And so I don't want you to be surprised and go, what? I thought this was already recorded. I don't remember this stuff and what I said and what they said. Let's see. And then making the on-site visit, pretty straightforward there. Now, something to know about the on-site visit. You do have to pay attention with the shop contract and the shopper story. If it's like they'll kind of share if it's blue collar, if it's more of a white collar community, like who typically rents there. And I think that's just so these folks aren't suspicious. So if you feel like it's more upscale, you may want to, look a little more like put together, versus if it's, kind of your average typical apartment complex, you're probably fine just however you look like on a normal. You can probably complete that shop. But and then also when they ask different things about like your what you do for work and things like that, make sure it's something realistic for that community. And then what else? Oh, uploading your backup documentation. I don't think I shared this. So after you fill out your online report, you will need to upload, if it's a virtual shop, you have to upload that recording. So if it is a virtual shop, you do upload the recording. So you do need to keep it. Don't throw it away as soon as you fill out the online report. You need to keep it and make sure you upload it. And I would keep it until you get paid, until that shop is completed and you've been paid, check mark, you can delete it. And also any other files. So if you complete the shop on site, then you definitely want to get a business card, one, and then you also want to have those copies of the layout of that apartment as well. So definitely have those items, because you will need to upload. It's basically your proof. So you want to make sure you're getting your proof that you actually did complete the shop. So that very important. I remember that's something else I didn't realize, that I needed to have the business card for the on-site shops. So that will be helpful to know in advance. And the follow-up, do I remember what this section is? Follow-up is not applicable until your report has been submitted. I don't remember what the follow-up is, to be honest with you. I'll share any thoughts later if there's something crucial I feel like I need to share on that. But overall, that's really the essential. So the online report, it should not take you longer than probably about 45 minutes, unless it's your first time completing a mystery shop. It may take you a little longer. But as you saw, it was pretty straightforward. A lot of just yes, no questions in there, outside of 1 or 2 pages where you were adding more specific comments and sentences. So I hope this video is helpful. And so now I'm just going to go into the chat. Let's see. And I'm swapping. I'm trying to look at my iPad again because I do not see any comments in StreamYard. Let's see. Edward, I did say hello to you, my supporter. Black Gold, yep. You're welcome, Black Gold. Mr. B, are they responsible for removing the human-shaped chocolate? I'm just laughing at that one. Always ask how many reside in the apartment above. Yes, I agree, Black Gold. That was a really good tip. Mr. B says, look at the inspection dates on the fire extinguishers. Yeah, that's a great one. I should have known you back when I was looking for, I was switching apartments and stuff. That's great. Yeah, that's really good. And to ask about, the system and sprinklers and all of that, that's awesome. Very good question. Let's see. Black Gold says, for the virtual shops, you get the full recording. Oh, okay, great. I didn't know that. I haven't completed any virtual shops yet. Very good to know. So for the on-site ones, and again, they could have changed this, and hopefully they changed it. But for the on-site ones, you would just get, for your initial phone conversation, you would only have the part of the recording. It was like, well, what in the world? How you guys expect me to know all this stuff? Let's see. Oh, hi, Jessica Smith. What a great name. Really love it. Welcome to the chat. I felt a bit in the dark and have not started. Rewatching this will help. Oh, okay. Well, you're very welcome. I'm glad I could help. It's really straightforward once you get started. Again, I think the toughest is just the first call you make. For me, I was kind of like, what in the world? But know that there are also some videos here too. Let me share this with you. And I'm not sure where you came in, Jessica, but if you go to the main screen on the EPMS site, you will see on the right-hand section as you scroll along that you will find a bunch of different instructional videos that EPMS has done. So there's a section for every part. And the other resource I will tell you is that if you have any questions, once you assign yourself a shop, you can actually reach out to someone directly just by hitting that, an email button or envelope button, and you can actually put in what's going on, if you need a deadline extension, whatever. And then if you just have a question, you can put that in here, and I assure you they will come back to you and respond. The other thing is, a lot of times the representatives will email you often just to share like, hey, we have virtual shops. Like I got a message last week that was like, hey, we have these virtual shops available. And so what I do sometimes is if I have questions on, okay, when are these shops available? Or I only have time to do them next week, or, what's the deadline? Can I get it extended? They'll respond back to you. They're great about that. That's why I keep them, in mind for when I have extra time to take on something. Haven't done many lately. So, it's been, well, I attempted to complete one the past weekend, and then I was just like, I don't have time. So I know, really bad. But I mean, if you do have some extra time, go ahead and try it out. I would recommend it to anyone. Let's see. Oh, Mr. B, does this program work in Canada? I'm not sure actually, because I know the company is actually based in Dallas, Texas. Let me see. Let me look something up real quick and see if I can. I don't really think they do. I think your best bet might be to try doing some virtual shops, Mr. B, if you're interested, because I don't believe they have operations in Canada. I'm going to make a note to myself if I haven't already asked them. Canada operations. I will reach out to one of the representatives and ask them that, if they have operations in Canada or other countries. But I'm pretty sure it's just the US. The other consideration is Canada's so close to New York. Like I've met a couple of people from Canada that, relocated to the New York or New Jersey area. It may make sense to even look at completing shops there, especially if it's virtual again. So those would be my tips to you. If you're interested, or someone that might be interested, definitely have them try that out. Let's see. Okay, Jessica says you will. Okay, perfect. Awesome. I'm just going through the chat to make sure I didn't miss anything, because as you guys know, if you've been in some of my chats before, I do miss comments. So I don't know if I welcome you, King Akil Vlogs. Hey, welcome. Nice to see you. Partly cloudy. Hey, nice to see you yesterday. Hope you're being safe. If you're still in here. Welcome all in the stream. Peace and love. Thank you. Lovely. I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I don't think I have anything to share on that anymore. Let's see in here. In Notes with Tony interviews, you were just so kind. You're so sweet. Oh, so I think I do want to go back to this comment. And I need to find it so I can share it up on the screen. Well, no, I can't. Okay, so I'll just read it out. So Black Gold, in his comment about, okay, you had several for a specific person and it was difficult trying to get them. I think the person that kept answering the phone when I called knew it was me each time. So here's another tip about that. If you realize it's a different person, what I have done is I would say, oh my gosh, I just realized I have to, I have to talk to my boss about something, or someone just stepped in my office. Can I give you a call back? Or, oh my God, my kid, I don't have a kid. Oh my God, my kid is doing something. I'm so sorry. I have to, whatever, just something that is really quick where you'd be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Can I give you a call back? You can just do that. You can just say, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Can I call you back in like an hour? And then don't call them back in an hour, call them back in like 2 hours. Because then they'll, kind of be expecting it. So just, divvy it up, make it different. Just make sure it sounds normal. Like for me, I don't mind doing that. Like, oh my God, I gotta do whatever. I'll call you back, and just make it really quick and get off the phone with them and then call them back later. That's something you could try. But then sometimes the person isn't even there that day. So that's the other tough thing that I don't like about having a specific person, because people take days off, or they only work on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever, or they're only there on weekends. So, and then you have this deadline, and typically the deadline's pretty close. When I went to the website today, a lot of the deadlines in there were for tomorrow. And I'm like, I'm not going to complete a shop tomorrow. So I picked one for December the 2nd because I would have enough time. And so I normally would pick a date out at least 3 days out, something that was realistic for me. Because what I don't want to do is, try to rush through it on the day of or the day right before, because it does get more challenging, or maybe that person isn't even there that day and now you can't complete the shop. So that's another tip that I would recommend for sure. Let's see. Yeah, Mr. B. So here's the thing with the Canada. I know you guys don't use like the zip codes like we have. And with EPMS, at least how I search is I normally just use the zip code and then I spread it out. I would think, since I was using a New York zip code, that some shops for Canada would have popped up if it was available in Canada. So what popped up when I put in the New York zip code were obviously New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Virginia, Maryland. So everything on that East Coast. So I do doubt that it's, something for the Canada region, but maybe there's something similar. So I'll do a little research for you to see if there's something available if you're interested in that. But if there's like a partner company, or if there's something similar for Canada. Let's see here. Black Gold says, okay, thanks. Those are good. I usually say I got the wrong number. Is this Domino's? This Pizza Hut? Oh, it's not. Oops. Got the wrong number, didn't realize I have to push a 1 to get them. So I'll try what you just said. Oh yeah, they're probably gonna know. Especially, if it's like an automated, which I have noticed more now, you get an automated like message, or it's a call center sometimes now, so that makes it even tougher. So yeah, just make something up and be like, oh, I gotta get off of here, or whatever. As long as you call back. Some of them, I will say, this one guy was like, he was really rude. It was just the weirdest. My latest shop experience, just weird. So it definitely sounded like a call center. The guy was it just sounded like he's one of those people that doesn't want to do his job. Like, he was not trying to be at work that day. So he's like, hello, or oh, and I could barely hear him. So I was like, I can't hear you. And he's like, oh, can you hear me now? And I'm like, I can't hear you. And I was like, well, I'll just call you back. And he was like, oh, can you hear me? And so he started like really talking. And I was like, it's fine. I'll just call you back. And I just went click. So, I mean, that's all you got to do. Just like, nope, can't hear. You can even do that. You can be like, oh, I can't hear you. Hello? Hello? Okay, I guess I'll try back later. Bye. And then just click, and there you go. Easy. Easy way to do it. So hopefully I'm giving you some good tips. But that's what I'll use. I guess it's a little bit of acting involved, I suppose, but this stuff happens, so whatever. They'll be used to it. But at the end of the day, I mean, just make sure you're using the best of your time. Like, I'm a big proponent of do what makes the best use of your time. So, I mean, if it makes more sense for you to call one day, try in the afternoon, you still don't get them, try the next day. That would be my approach, instead of trying to call them, 1 hour, then the next hour, then the next hour, because the real thing is that a lot of cities are seeing, this trend where these big apartment complexes, they're not seeing as much demand because people are trying to be more spread out or go to the suburbs, especially in New York. They're trying to go upstate. Maybe people are going from Manhattan to Brooklyn, but not as likely. So it's tougher. So they may not have as many people on staff. So it may be even a little more challenging. I just saw your comment, Jessica Smith. This sounds crazy. I mean, it was kind of a weird call. I was just like, what is going on? So I was like, I'm not about to be messing around with this. I'm done. And that's how I am though. I'm just like, I don't want to waste time. We're done. It's fine. Whatever. Let me see something here. Okay. IG. And what else is this? Okay. I changed that. Okay. Mr. B says, yes, typical area search. We use postal codes. I personally can't see me using this anytime soon, but I like it. Okay, well, that's fair. It's pretty cool. And I appreciate you giving the tips about just, apartment searching in general, because a big reason, and I've shared this in other videos, but a big reason for me looking into this was a lady by the name of Danielle Pierce. I'm pretty sure her YouTube channel is Real Estate Profit Lab, but she's the one that shared this whole tip about apartment mystery shopping. And I have been thinking about mystery shopping for a long time, but my hangup was just that I was going to have to put up my own money, and I was really skeptical. Like, this seems weird. Like, you're going to pay me to shop? Like, really? And I know it is real. There are some real companies out there, but one that she shared was this one where I wouldn't have to put up any money. And at the time, I was looking for apartments anyway. And so, and I'm pretty interested in just looking at decor and, layouts of different spaces. So it was interesting for me. And so I was like, well, if I'm going to be looking for apartments anyway, this is a great time to try it. It was a tough time for me at the time. It was like during my layoff experience and getting a new job real quick. So it was like within that space. And so I started during that time. And then I just kept on with it when I started my new job. And it was really nice to just get some extra money. Like, I would get like $100 typically over, just doing 2 or 3 mystery shops. And this is in St. Louis, Missouri at the time. So the shops were cheaper. So, but in, a place like New York, even Dallas, it was helpful. So it would just be nice to have this extra money just go to my savings. So it was pretty cool. Let me see here. Black Gold, you're laughing at me. I mean, that's what you gotta do, right? That's what you gotta do. Just gotta make some stuff up. So I think that was pretty much the video. So hopefully this plays back pretty well and everything was able to show nicely on the screen. Not sure if there are any other questions, but I am gonna hang in here for a few minutes for any thoughts, because on the couple videos I've done on apartment mystery shopping, I always get the question about the report. Like, how long does it take? Are there any tips? It's too long. It's too this. And it's like, well, it's easy money. They're trying to get as much information as you can. There are some ways just to quickly get the information, or, get a recording and just play the recording and go through the report as you're playing the recording. That's my biggest tip. And what I would do a lot of the time is I would just, by that time I knew what questions I would need to answer, I'd have my laptop, I would just play my recording and chug away and get it done right after the shops were done. And then I'd be on my way. So it wasn't too bad. And what's really nice is when you have those bonuses added. So you get those $10, $20, $25, $30 sometimes bonuses that make it worth it. So you could go from, just thinking you're going to get $30 to $45 to getting more like $60 or $70. So those are pretty nice for just visiting an apartment community. Let's see. Mr. B is saying, okay, I've lived in apartments for several years. The rental laws vary province to province. Know your rights and be familiar with your local rental laws. Yeah, I would say even here in the US, we have state by state laws. So, in New York and in California, the laws are very much focused on renters and making sure that renters have, the best experience they can. Especially when it comes to evictions. the process is very difficult. Now, in a state like Texas, where I am, the laws tend to be on the side of the landlords in most cases. So you definitely do. I agree with that. You do have to know your rights. And one thing I do like about the mystery shopping, this experience, is that you are helping this company provide direct information to the leasing property on what their leasing agents are doing. So if there are any, suspicious activity going on, or like for myself as a woman, am I being discriminated against, or am I being treated badly because I'm young or because I'm a Black woman? Like what's going on? Or are they being inappropriate or any kind of way? These are the stuff that you can offer. We know that this stuff happens, and over time, we've seen all these different stories about people being discriminated against. Seen plenty of videos. Well, you're a part of the process to actually be able to report on that. So there was that section of the report about like equal housing, discrimination, whatever that section. That's where you can offer. If you felt any kind of way, or you heard, I would say anything you heard, the leasing agents say, you can add that in there to help this community to, make sure they're treating people the right way. So I really like that. I think that's a really big piece of it. And then also the other big piece of what EPMS as a company, they do actual training for leasing agents. So if they are lacking in customer service, it's not necessarily that they're going to fire the leasing agent, but they know what type of training they need to provide. Like most likely, maybe it was just a miss on their training. Maybe they're not focused on, making sure the leasing agents know how to sell and how to address the renter or potential renter's concerns. So that's something else to keep in mind. Let's see. I think I'm going to wrap this up, but it was so nice to see everyone and have everyone join me. I'm going to quickly look for the other videos I have so I can share them. Let me see here. And I hope everyone's Sunday is going well. It was a nice long weekend for many of us, so I hope you all enjoyed it. I know I did. It was just nice to get away. Okay, so I will link these videos in, well, once this actually posts, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4 videos on mystery shopping. So, and I also do have a playlist on mystery shopping. Let me grab it. And folks of you that are like creators, I know in the chat, please do connect with each other if you're not connected already. All right, let's see here. I do have a playlist for it, so that's what I'm going to share. Or do I? Okay, playlist. Okay, I'm seeing everything but what I want. So I'm going to create a new playlist for mystery shops, and then I'll throw that I'll throw that in the chat. Let's see. Say apartment mystery shopping. All right. My stomach is growling. I need to eat some lunch, guys. Who's in here? Oh, hey, Partly Cloudy. Hey, Tia. Enjoy doing the shops with the length of those reports, though. So I looked at the video and audio recorded. The shops and reports look the same. The video and audio recorded shops and reports look the same. Yeah, they're pretty similar. The only difference, I did show there's a section for putting in your notes for the virtual shop versus the on-site. But yeah, they're long. I definitely agree with you. It is. I mean, that's definitely my con of mystery shopping. I did a live last week, and I just talked about what are the pros and cons to apartment mystery shopping. And yes, for me, the biggest con is definitely just the amount of time it takes to complete the report. And again, especially your first time doing it, it is like, I mean, it's just not what I expected. And if you do the replay of this, when I went to the when I went to the page, I was like, well, don't just focus on the page. Look on the side. You have to complete all of these sections. So don't just think it's like a one pager and done. It's a little bit, okay? I hear you. I definitely hear you. All right, let's get this playlist going. Okay, I'm gonna pick up that one. Let's see here. It is like a really cloudy day here in Texas. I'm not used to this. I want my sun back. I want some sun. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna get this one. Okay, and this one. Okay, I'm gonna link this in here and then I'll provide it to you. Thank you guys for hanging in here while I'm looking for this. You guys are nice. Appreciate it. And I definitely hope this video, for those of you watching the playback, just bear with me. You don't have to listen to this part. My playlist should be up by then, by the time you're looking at the video. All right, so here we go. Let's see if that actually showed up. Okay, so that should be the playlist. I will link it in the video once this actually gets up on my page and everything. Let me make sure I didn't miss anyone coming in. Oh, you're welcome, Black Gold. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. I appreciate everyone for joining me today on this lovely Sunday. My lovely people. Partly cloudy, you had to go to the store, but you came back. Well, welcome back. We are closing it down. Tia, I'm currently looking into field inspections. Do you have any experience with those? I do not. I do not have any experience with field inspections. I'd actually be interested in hearing from you, however, Tia, because I'd love to hear about it. I can only imagine. So please do reach out to me. Either leave me a comment somewhere with some info, or you can reach out to me on Instagram. My IG is up here on the screen. Just Jobs from Jess. Would love to hear from you. Okay, perfect. Cool, Tia. Okay, well, I'm going to close it down. Thank you guys so much for watching and being here for me on this Sunday. And I hope, this was helpful. It sounds like it was from Black Gold. And happy shopping. And hopefully, if you're still shopping over this weekend and going out, just please be safe, be careful. Just be smart about who you're engaging with, and take it easy. And let's jump into this work week again. And I hope everyone had a lovely Thanksgiving holiday. See you guys in my next video. Bye.